We are still on the continuation of the lessons for ratio and proportion. So we already know what a ratio is and what is a proportion. Also the different types of proportion or variation. We're now going to additional types of proportion na tinatawag nating joint and combined proportion. So ano ba yung tinatawag natin pag joint at ano ba yung tinatawag natin pag combined? So prior to this, kaya natin pinag-aralan yung direct proportion at saka inverse proportion kasi pag nagsama sila sa isang proportion, pwede siyang tawaging joint or pwede rin siyang tawaging combined. Okay, let's see. Una, joint proportion is a proportion wherein one quantity is directly proportional to the product of two or more quantities. Okay? So, pinag-aralan natin ang direct proportion. So, pag ang direct proportion is merong isang quantity na direct proportion to the product of two or more quantities, that is joint proportion. So, ibig sabihin, walang involved na inverse proportion. So, direct proportion siya ng one quantity to two or more na nakaproduct. So, katulad nito, ito yung isang quantity, naka-equate siya sa product ng two or more quantities at meron siyang constant. Okay? So, pag ganyan ang form niya, tinatawag siyang joint variation. So, puro lang siya direct proportion, isang quantity sa left, dalawang quantity or more na nakaproduct sa right. And syempre, dapat may constant of proportionality. So, kung i-represent natin siya in a general variable, so we have is equals to constant times isang variable and another variable na naka-product. Okay, so ito yung 1/2, ito yung M, ito yung B squared, then ito yung KE, which is the kinetic energy sa science. So M is mass, B is velocity. Now, pag sinabi naman natin combined proportion, this is the combination na ng direct proportion and inverse proportion. So, dito sa joint proportion, puro direct proportion lang. Dito sa combined, merong direct and merong inverse. So, it is a proportion wherein one quantity is directly proportional with one or more quantity and inversely proportional with at least one other quantity. So, at least, ibig sabihin, kahit isa man lang na naka-inverse proportion siya, combined proportion na ang tawag doon. So, halimbawa, again, sa science, yung force due to gravity is equal to gravitational constant times mass of object 1 times mass of object 2 divided by the distance between the two objects. Okay? So makikita natin ang force direct proportion siya with one or more quantities. So meron tayong tatlo. So direct proportion siya dyan. Gm sub 1 and Gm then M sub 2 rather. And inverse proportional with at least one quantity. So ito yung one quantity. Kaya siya combined proportion na kasi may napahalong at least one inverse proportion. So kung wala nito, GMM lang, so that is joint proportion. Pero dahil nagkaroon ng kahit isang inverse proportion, so tinatawag naman siyang combined proportion. So that is the difference between joint proportion and combined proportion. So let's have an example na tignan natin na combination siya. So makikita natin sa problem. Suppose it is known that the quantity Z varies directly with a second quantity X and inversely proportional with the product of two quantities Y and V. So, meron tayong apat na variable. So, ang sabi, yung Z is directly proportional sa X, pero inversely proportional siya sa product ng dalawa pang other quantity. So, what we're going to do is find the equation that defines this situation of proportion. So, kung titingnan natin, that is combined proportion. Kasi di ba magkahalo ang direct at saka inverse. And then, if we already know the equation, we're going to find the constant of proportionality. Dapat may given tayo value ng bawat variable or bawat quantity. So sabi, if z is equals to 5, when x is equals to 30, y is equals to 12, and b is equals to 10, ano daw yung constant of proportionality? Now, letter C, if alam na natin yung equation at yung constant of proportionality, determine the value of x when v is equals to 10, y is equals to 2, and z is equals to 12. Okay, so these are the answers for this problem. Okay, for letter A, find the equation that defines the situation or the proportion. So, sabi, ito ang magiging equation natin. Z is directly proportional to X. So, dahil directly proportional to X siya, meron siyang constant na K. Okay, so nasa numerator sila parehas. Direct proportion. And inversely proportional to the product of two quantities. So meron tayong product ng y and v, pero naka-inverse proportion siya sa z, kaya nasa denominator siya. Ito ang magiging equation natin. Z is equals to k times x all over y times b. So this is the equation. This is the answer for letter A. Now, for letter B, dahil ayan ang equation natin, i-substitute natin itong mga to para makuha yung value ng K or ng constant. So, we have Z, which is 5, is equals to K, which is unknown, times X, which is 30, all over Y, 12, times B, which is 10. So, simplify natin, 5 is equals to 30K over 120. I-lowest term muna natin yung 30 over 120. So, pwede siyang 5 is equals to K over 4. So, 30 divided by 30 is 1. Hindi na natin sinusulat. Then, 120 divided by 30 is 4. So, simplified na siya para mas madali yung multiplication. Therefore, K is equals to 20. So, this is the answer for letter B, constant of proportionality. Now, dahil meron na tayong equation, meron na rin tayong value ng K, let's determine the value of X if V is equals to 10, Y is equals to 2, and Z is equals to 12. So, let's substitute again, pero ang unknown na is X. So, meron tayong value ng Z, which is 12. Meron tayong value ng K, which is 20. Ang unknown is X. All over, we have Y, 2. We also have V, which is 10. So that is 12 is equals to 20x divided by 20. Now, simplify natin. 20 divided by 20 is just 1. So magiging 12 is equals to x. So this is the answer for the value of x when v is equals to 10, y is equals to 2, and z is equal to 12. So that is basically the concept of combined proportion. That's the combination of direct proportion and inverse proportion.